I am going to ghost my cheating girlfriend. I am moving back to my home country and she doesn't know, lol. She thinks it's an official trip for a couple of days but I am gone forever. The cheating incident and its aftermath made me realize how important it is to have your family near you. I used to cry in the middle of night with no one but her to console, so of course I cried silently. To see your girlfriend on your bed with another guy, him being her best friend, yeah, that does a number on you. I was sure we will get married but maybe life has better plans for me than a cheater. She still maintains that it was a one-time drunken mistake and will never happen again. She has cut him off and has joined therapy and also given up drinking, and I have given her absolutely no indication that I have gotten a job back home. The salary is not what I get right now, but the cost of living is not as high and family is there. Just one more week, so please wish me luck that I can keep up the charade till then. And any advice for me? We dated for 4 years before she cheated on me. Those were 4 happy years. What's something effed up you witnessed as a child that you were oblivious to until you grew up? When I was 5 or 6, my mom used to never want to get out of bed and just kept saying she was sick. Finally, my stepdad took her to a hospital, where she stayed for nearly a month. I thought it was so cool that her hospital let her do arts and crafts all the time, plus she got better and started doing arts and crafts with me too when she got home. I remember telling her that I wished I could go to the hospital and draw all day. She sat me down and told me that she hoped I would never get sick like she did, but if I do, there's nothing wrong with needing help to get better. Even if you have to go somewhere for a little while to do it. It wasn't until I was probably 12 or 13 and didn't want to get out of bed myself that it clicked that the hospital she had gone to was a mental health hospital. But because of her, I've never felt shame about needing therapy when things are getting bad, or even just to maintain a healthy mindset. How did you find out your significant other was cheating on you? My wife tried calling and didn't hang up once it went to voicemail. She accidentally left a 2-minute 45 voice message. The voice message consisted of her and her boyfriend talking shit about me and how much happier she was with him. At the time I was home with our kids and I thought she was 1,800 miles away to be with her dying father. 2 years later we are divorced and her father is still alive. The guy she cheated on with was a real bro and when he found out she did in fact have a boyfriend, messaged me saying that she cheated on me and he was sorry and she had told him she didn't have a boyfriend. When I confronted her about it, she denied it for about 30 seconds before starting to cry and admitting to everything. Party at my house. End of night, only a few friends left. Decide to crash out. Get up to go to the bathroom. Bathroom door is locked and lights are off. Strange. Knock on door, no answer. Wait for a few minutes and GF eventually pokes her head out and doesn't want to open door. Push door open and best friend is sitting there still trying to do up belt. Ouch. Drama ensues. People of Reddit, what is your downright scariest real-life story? I used to sleepwalk when I was a child. We lived in a rough neighborhood, Decatur, Georgia, and I would wake up outside in the middle of the night, not knowing how I got there, and would have to walk home and walk into the darkened doorway I had left wide open for whoever might be lurking around. However, the time that scared me the most was when I was about 9 years old. I woke up and found myself with the bedroom curtains drawn back and staring out the window. As I came awake, I noticed a very large and completely hairless man, no hair, eyebrows etc., staring at me and slowly inching closer to the window and closer to my face. He was looking bewildered like he wasn't sure what he was seeing. At that moment, I realized what was going on and I started screaming uncontrollably, frozen in place and peeing down my leg. The man freaked out and screamed, did a tumbling move, and then ran off in a weird zigzag like he was trying to dodge bullets. My mom woke up and thought I probably had a nightmare. The next morning we found a screwdriver on the front porch and damage to the door jamb and door handle. What made you walk out of a date? I got catfished by a girl who has sent me fake photos, and it wasn't even close to her. She immediately addressed this but in a way that would make it my fault if I had an issue with it, if that makes sense. Like, I know I lied about how I look but only because I knew you wouldn't date me and looks are superficial. No problem, let's see who she really is. I wish that was the reason I ran for the hills. She invited like 7 of her friends as consultants or advisors and told me to pretend they weren't there. Sitting around at a huge table at Toronto's old spaghetti factory. All the while she's asking them advice while we're on a date. Like if I asked her, what do you do for fun? She would then turn to her friends and ask them what she should say. After the hardest convo of my life, she then asked if I wanted to watch some special edition Harry Potter with director commentary or something with all her friends at her house. I made up some random emergency and we never spoke again. What did a crush do that made you instantly lose interest in her? She asked me to prom. I said yeah. 2 days before prom I actually don't want to go with you, but I already bought both of our tickets. As the guy, I expect you to pay me back for them. I tried to explain that's not how transactions work. She kept telling me it was my responsibility. I asked if she was going crazy. Never heard from her again. They poked fun at my mom. Going to a primarily white school, him and a group of his guy friends always made fun of how she dressed and how short she was. I didn't super know him, but he was a part of the group that did, and that's all I needed to know. My mom is this sweet, short Asian woman who loves to smile, and yes, she sometimes wears goofy clothing, but no one makes fun of my mama. No one. What is a not fun fact? Bus seats are designed so that you cannot tell how dirty they really are. There is a whale called 52 Blue that only sings at their frequency, meaning it can't communicate with other whales. It is nicknamed the loneliest whale on the planet. Your skeleton is wet. Your intestines will wriggle themselves back into the correct position. Doctors who do any type of intestinal surgery don't have to worry too much about how they put the intestines back in. If you are an identical twin, it is possible that you and your siblings' identities were swapped and your parents never caught it. Sloths only have enough energy for their weekly toilet trip to the jungle floor. If the baby falls from their underside in the trees onto the floor, they choose to preserve their energy and leave it to be eaten. If the hamster gets too stressed, it will eat its kids. There is a genetic disease called FOP where your muscles and tissue turn to bone, often called human statue disease. Eventually people may have to decide whether they want to become frozen in a sitting or flat standing position. How did you find out your significant other was cheating on you? Dated for 2 years until one day, out of the blue she says she's not happy anymore and breaks up with me. It sucked, but I figured it was for the best if she wasn't happy. About a week after we had broken up I saw her at the bar with some guy who she sheepishly admitted she was on a date with. Later that night I end up standing next to him ordering drinks. He apologized to me for the awkwardness. Yeah, it's just weird since we've only been broken up for a few days and she's already dating. He pauses. A few days? She and I have been seeing each other for like 3 months now. We stared at each other for a second, and then my ex comes running up to pull him away from me. He shrugged her off and told her to go F herself and then left the bar. That's how I found out my ex had been cheating on me for 3 months before apparently guilt took hold and she broke up with me. I bumped into the guy a few months later and talked about it. He thought she was just really flaky, but after speaking to me it just all clicked for him. We recalled the times when he couldn't reach her because she was with me and vice versa. I'm happily married now and she had to move home to live with her mom. What do girls never tell guys? Our favorite bra doesn't get washed as much. When I wear my hair in certain ways it means I've not gotten the chance to wash it in a while. Sometimes we think men are pretty. Pretty as in the way your eyes are shining in the sunlight reminds me of fireflies, or your lips look plump and soft and the way your brow furrows when you're concentrating makes me smile. But we also know men don't typically like being called pretty because they'll think we don't see them as men, like we're feminizing them. But I cannot express how much I wish I could call men pretty without upsetting them. Specifically what was discussed in the bathroom. Sometimes when we pee we get more than one pee stream, just like you. That many men have been blessed with perfectly thick, long, luscious eyelashes and us girls are a bit jelly of that fact. Your looks are almost never the problem when we don't want to go further with you. That we girlfriends discuss each and everything with each other. So, if you're flirting with 2 friends simultaneously, there is a high chance that both of them are laughing at your texts behind your back. What's the cruelest prank you've ever seen? In high school one of the cutest girls in my grade came up to me and told me she had a crush on me and wanted to go out on a date. I was skeptical because no one had ever asked me out before, but I was growing into my body pretty well and definitely more attractive than I was as an early teen, so I just figured puberty was doing some good work for me. We were 16-17 and had both just got our licenses, so she said she'd meet me at the movie theater and we'd go have dinner after the movie. I told my mom and she got all excited and helped me pick out an outfit and took pictures of me before my first ever date. Cringe AF, but you know how it goes. I went and got a haircut and my car detailed so it'd be rolling fresh, you know. And believe me, I was looking tasty. Fresh shave, hair edged up sharp enough to cut glass. I was dripped out before the phrase even existed. So I show up at the theater a couple minutes early and I'm waiting for her, and after like 15 minutes I think maybe I'll call her to make sure she didn't like have an emergency come up or something. We didn't have texting back then, so I call her and she answers on speakerphone and like 5 other girls are all laughing at me saying things like ha ha ha, he actually showed up. So yeah, it was all just a prank to hurt my feelings. Joke's on me I guess.